nRated, and Vander from Roccat. Of course, you guys have a game coming up here, the second game of the day. First, I want to track back to yesterday, maybe starting with SK Gaming, currently 1-1 in the Super Week. Yesterday versus Gambit, though, that loss, I didn't feel that you guys were doing particularly bad in the bottom lane. Where do you think it went wrong for the team?
Well, it has several reasons. I think we got outsmarted there. Our picks were not on point, and we saw LeBlanc early, but we kind of knew what we wanted to play set against it, but I don't know why, but it was not in our minds until we had that last pick, and the setup was not really like formed around it. And that kind of lost us the game in the end because we couldn't really out-rotate them, and split push was not an option either. They had a picky comp, and I don't know, like overall it was just the picks that made it harder for us, and we didn't execute it very well.
Talking about having a clear mind in picks and bans, Vander, you guys yesterday played versus Alliance. The first thing I want to ask is, of course, 380 carry bans. Very interesting strategy there. What was the plan?
So our plan was to let them first pick Kassadin and pick the strongest AD, which is like with Varus at the moment, and we'll be able to counter the Vayne pick. So we are afraid of Draven and two other rebound, I think Jinx and Sivir, because they are the most played champions that Taps is currently playing. But in the past we knew he was playing Vayne. We hoped he will be a bit off as this champion, but he proved he played well.
Do you feel he was the biggest problem in the end, or was it that Kassadin threat, or was it not a problem at all?
I think Kassadin is always a threat because you have to do something before he starts rolling in the late game. But I think if we played better, we could win.
All right, so you guys obviously have the game coming up versus each other here. Second game of the day. nRated, how do you feel going up against Rockat's bottom lane?
Well, we have a good win ratio versus them so far. We haven't lost a match in LCS, but I think we need to respect them because they're one of the upper teams here in LCS. And I think they are a big threat, and when you let them roll, they will roll you down. So we have to manage to keep the early game under our control, and at a certain point I think we will pull ahead.
Yeah, that early game has been kind of an issue for you guys as well. How do you think it's going to go versus Candy Panda and nRated?
I think it should be fine when it comes to 2v2, but I'm more scared when it comes to jungle presence on the bot lane. I think our lane doesn't work that good with Jankos yet, but we're working on it. And about early game, I think we improved it a lot last games, but now we do like mistakes later in the game.
You mentioned that Jankos and the synergy with the bottom lane. I had the impression that that was there in the beginning when you guys were winning so many games. Did that change, or?
No, I think we just play a bit worse now. Like it happens to like almost every team. You can see at Fnatic, for example. So I think we will manage to come back.
All right, well, he's mentioning Fnatic, and that's your second match of the day, SK versus Fnatic, El Clasico. How are you going into that one?
Well, we've prepared very well, so we just go into the match and go through with our plan. And whatever we're doing, if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, we have to adjust some way.
You want to ruin the, excuse me, I was going to say Alliance, but that's a dream. That's not Fnatic, obviously. Coming into this weekend, you guys were named as maybe one of the best teams at the moment. You haven't quite lived up to it, but still 1-1 for now is not a bad score at all. How do you feel you've done overall in the last couple of weeks?
I think the last weeks were a lot better for us. We've improved as a team, and overall we've showed, even in the standings, that we can compete on the highest level. And I think if we just keep doing what we're doing and prepare for every match, I think we will do good and keep doing good.
Okay, what is the game plan for Roccat going into the next week? The end of the split is closing in.
Well, now it's 1 week break, so we'll work hard to come back to our form from the earlier of the split. So yeah, we just have to not give up and keep our heads high.
All right, so the first game coming up for obviously is Alliance as they take on Gambit. Alliance can go for that perfect streak. Do you think they have a chance nRated?
I think every team has a chance right now. Alliance played very strong this week. Gambit is a really solid team as well, and the way they played versus us yesterday was impressive. I think overall I would give it to Gambit right now, just because they've been performing a lot better like throughout the whole split so far. But I think Alliance have a shot, and if they can take it.
Vander, what do you think?
I think Alliance will take it.
All right, thank you very much, gentlemen. Good luck in your matchup, the second match of the day, that is. As for us, we need to take a quick moment to farm our lane, but stay with us because